nil.edu, and then you press the question mark, and you will see this is all the commands for transfer and seize the role. Okay, please do the practice for your free time, and this is most important topic. An interview point of it is asking you questions: how do you fix it, how do you transfer the role, how do you maintain a active directory, all is going to be handled with this part. And today we are going to talk about another important topic called as a DNS. Okay, it's one of the important topic in Active Directory. Before I talk about this DNS, anyone has any question?
No, sir.
All good. Chaitanya, last week you have missed the class. Did you go through that videos and all? Okay.
Yes, sir. I missed most of the classes last 2 weeks.
Right. All good now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So many of you know that already DNS. What is DNS?
Name
Right?
resolver query.
How it works and what type of DNS and what type of DNS zone and what are the records, right? And how actual DNS works, we'll talk about. And everyone know this is name is a domain name service, right? What purpose we are going to use this? What is DNS? It's a
resolving the name
resolving to
IP
name, right? It is
Yes.
going to be do the IP to name and name to IP, both the side. Okay. How it is actually resolving? What is the process happening behind this? How it works actually, right? So there is a by default, we are installing default role called, one second, okay, one second. Okay. What we're talking about? Installing the default DNS role, correct? By default, we are installing a default DNS role. Is one of the most important role. Without DNS, you cannot install the Active Directory. It's a very dependent role for Active Directory. When you wanted to talk about Active Directory to run with the help of DNS, it won't work without DNS. That's the most important. Hence, we are providing the prerequisitized IP address of the DNS. We configure the DNS IP address, then we process it. We follow the prerequisites to installing the Active Directory. Hope you remember everyone. We discussed, right? To installing the Active Directory, we talked about the prerequisites, and then we configured all this prerequisites, then we install the Active Directory, correct? Yes or no?
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
it is
sir.
what are the prerequisites to deploy ADDS and DNS? Must be server OS, administrator password, and static IP and DNS must be configured, right? Only configuring DNS IP address. That is the same IP address we have provided here, 162.70.0.2, correct? So once it is DNS role installed, what will happen in the server, right? How that actually this process is happening, resolving process happening, right? We will prove that. What we can do, we will deploy one web application for the testing. Okay, we will install IAS role, okay, and we'll try to access with IP address default web page. Then we'll try to access with domain name, okay, like www dot your domain name. We will see that how and what are the prerequisites to be needed to accessing the web page with the domain name. That's what is going to happen, resolving the name, right? Now in a traditional method, in a generic, we are accessing any of the website in the public. Are we accessing the website over the IP or domain name?
Domain name.
Correct? Facebook.com, Google.com, these are all name, right? So now when you type in http.google.com and that domain name, where is going to reach? How is processing the query and then getting that is in domain name connected? And the same process we will discuss. Then we will talk about what are the actually type of DNS zone, and there are two type of zone or two type of DNS server. Okay, number one is primary DNS server. It's also called as primary DNS zone. Remember, type of server. Second one is secondary DNS server. It's also called as secondary DNS zone. And each server, primary DNS server or primary DNS zone, we have a multiple records. And before you talk about records, we have the two type of subzone, which is called forward lookup zone. Might be you heard about this information, right? Two type of subzone under the primary zone. Okay, one is forward lookup zone and second one is reverse lookup zone. So inside that forward lookup zone, we have a records, and those records are default. We have a 3 records. Those records are NS record, which is called as a name server record. Second one is SOA, which is called start of authority. Number 3, host record. Okay, this would be a host single A record, and we have also 4A records, which is single A indicate for IP version 4, and this is for IP version 6. Apart from these default 3 records, we have additional 4 more records are there. Based on the requirement, we can create it. That is called as a PTR record, which is called as a pointer records. Number 5, MX record, which is called mail exchange records. Number 6, SRV record, which is called service record. Number 7, CNAME record, which is canonical or alias record. Okay, what are those records? Name server, start of authority, host record, and you have the pointer record, mail exchange record. MX record means mail exchange record. Service record and canonical alias record. And these records also be part of your reverse lookup zone. Primary DNS server, it's also called as a primary DNS zone. What is a primary DNS zone? Primary means it has read and write copy of DNS zone database. So same secondary DNS server also have a records. In the secondary DNS server is also have that forward lookup zone and reverse lookup zone. And the definition is it has only read copy of DNS zone. It has read copy of DNS zone database. And this secondary zone, it is always secondary DNS server is always depending on the primary DNS server. Okay. So when primary DNS server has all the record, if we configured as a secondary DNS server, then whatever records are updated, automatically it is get updated. That process is there. How to configure the secondary DNS server we'll talk about, right? And we'll see this how actually DNS works with the help of one IA's installation. We can do that. And after that is in how the actual DNS works we understood. Let's talk about that is in actual active directory DNS. This would ask you again interview questions, and in a production environment you should know that maximum people has a confusion how the actual DNS work and what are the DNS and how it is going to do. And the records are creating by default when you are domain joined all the devices, your domain controller and your member server. Those records are by default get created. If the records are deleted accidentally, it won't be resolving. You need to check for the troubleshooting step of the DNS, NS lookup, you need to type it, right? Troubleshoot of DNS. You need to check that. Type the command called as NS lookup and verify that your DNS server should give that IP address and domain name. If it's not providing, then properly, then your DNS server is properly configured or not. You can able to verify that. Okay, and we need to verify that reverse lookup zone. Most of the time people are not configured reverse lookup zone, and some of the people they put the IP address of the DNS IP address of 127.0.0.1. Okay, so should be removed, this must be removed and configured actual DNS IP address. Okay, maximum people are environment having a trouble for to resolving the name because they might be they configure taken the default 127. Okay, actual DNS IP address. So these are all we need to talk about in practically. Any question before we start the lab? Let's talk about the how the practical we are going to prove that DNS works. Then we'll discuss about the primary and secondary DNS server. Good to go?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Who is going to share the screen? Chaitanya?
Sir, today I joined from the mobile actually,
Okay, no
facing
worries.
an issue with the laptop also.
Okay, who will be the Jibu? Last week, who shared the screen?
Sir, I am attending through my phone.
Oh, you are also attending phone. Okay, who is
Yeah,
ready?
sir.
Cedric?
Yeah, I'm on my phone today. I'm not. I traveled, so.
Okay, no worries. Who is that? Guys, if you someone has to help me to share the screen. If not, then practical we cannot. I think we just need to finish the theory part.
Can we proceed with DHCP so we can have practical tomorrow for DNS and DHCP both?
Okay, that can be done. Yes, yes. Okay, let me share my screen. Let's park with this. We'll do this practical tomorrow. Get ready with your lab.
Yeah.
Okay, so now same, we will be continuing with this tomorrow. Okay, both the topic. In DHCP, what is the DHCP? Everyone know this? What purpose we are going to use it?
Yeah, it assign the IP address to the automatically with the DORA process.
Correct, dynamic host configuration protocol. Correct. Protocol. So obviously this is assigning IP address to all the clients machine, right? So the right is said there is a process called as DORA process. Okay, there is a DHCP works in DORA process. What is DORA process here? D indicate for the discover, O indicate for offer, R indicate for the request, A indicate for acknowledgement. So what do you mean by this here? When you are client computer asking or finding the DHCP server, what you need to do, you have to go to the ncpu.cpl. There's a two way to configure the IP address, correct? One is static IP address, second one is assign the IP address from the DHCP, correct? So the moment you select properties, if you go to the TCP IP properties, if you click on this obtain an IP address automatically, every computer, the discover is going to start when select client computer obtain IP address automatically. Okay, then the discover is going to start from client machine to server, DHCP server, correct? It's going to start processing, it's going to start searching within the network, where is my DHCP server, and just keep on discovering, right? Just keep on discovering. It will take some time. What will happen if the DHCP server did not find in the network during this process? If the DHCP server is found, DHCP server found, it is DHCP will ask, DHCP will offer, okay, I am the DHCP server and providing, and it will tell you that providing IP address. It is processing server to client. Discover is process happening client to server, and offer, it is process happening for server to client, right? DHCP server providing IP address, and once it is identify the DHCP server over the network, then again client will request, please provide valid IP address to me. Okay, which is happening for client to server again. So once that is in request is sent by the client to server, the IP address will be received from DHCP server to client. Then DHCP server will acknowledge whom IP address is given, and that is again server to client. This is complete process is happening between the client and server. The moment you put that is in obtain IP address automatically, client machine, it start discovering the server, and once it is identify the DHCP server, it will asking you to how can I help you, right? Obviously that is in, it is going to be providing IP address, but the again client has to request, once it identified the DHCP server over the network, again the client has to request, please provide me the valid IP address to me. So this is connecting between the client and server. But question is, what will happen if DHCP server did not find it? Okay, and how DHCP server provide the IP addresses? Anyone know this?
Sir, I think in that we need to mention that start IP network and start range and end range.
Repeat. Can you please repeat?
We need to we need to define the range, start range
Correct.
and end range.
Correct. So we have to have a configure, we have to create a scope of IP address. It means we can configure IP address, pool of IP address. Okay, you need to tell to the pool of IP address. There is a bundle of IP address you need to assign already to DHCP server from pool of IP address, and it is the first in first serve who are going to reach first, DHCP first, and DHCP will provide, server will give IP address to client, right? Example, now if you are configuring that is in 192.168, or you can say 10. Your DHCP server IP address is example 10.0.1.1, and created scope, okay, this is network 1, and the start IP address would be example 10.0.1.10, and end IP address is, and depends on network team is provided, these many IP addresses would be assigned to this DHCP for this network. Accordingly we are going to assigning 1.20 example. So for the lab point of view, I'm assigning for that is in 10 IP address, 10.0.1.10 and 10.0.1.20. So now whoever going to reach the DHCP server, and that machine would get it, it is basically first in first serve, it would get it 10.0.1.10, right? And next machine 10.0.1.11, next machine 10.0.1.12, like that the IP address will be going to receive from the DHCP server, right? Getting my point?
Yes.
Now, what will happen? Okay, say for example, client 1 machine today received IP address from DHCP that is called 10.0.1.12. After shutdown or reboot, and tomorrow if you connect it, does this machine get the same IP address?
No.
No,
Why?
because the DHCP will release that IP.
Obviously, that DHCP server who's connected, whatever the available IP address would get it. Correct?
Yes.
So
What if?
so
Yeah.
how does DHCP reserve works?
Sorry, what you have? DHCP?
Reserve.
Reserve part.
Right.
Reserve
Yeah.
part.
Mm.
I didn't get it.
Reserving part. Reserving part. If
Reservation part.
all the any
Just come. Correct.
voice
What
IP.
if I need the same IP address tomorrow? Then
Right.
what you need to do? We need to plan for DHCP reservation.
You're right.
So how do you do the DHCP reservation? We need to configure with a machine, with a client machine MAC address. That I think most of them know this. Okay, this is the just need to know that machine MAC address, which is called physical IP address, right? Getting everyone this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I have a 4 network or 2 network. Okay. One is network 1, where we have around 200 users, and I have a network 2, around we have the 150 users. Now I have already configured DHCP server and all these 200 users IP address releasing from DHCP server. Okay. Now network 2 also has a 150 users. Can I get, does this network also get the IP address from the same DHCP server? Possible?
No.
Why no?
Different network right now.
Hey, it is different network. That's fine.
I don't know what.
Is this question understood, everyone? Is this question understood, everyone?
Can
It
you
was
repeat, sir? Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Can you repeat?
Can you repeat the question, sir, again?
So there is a network 1. Okay.
Okay.
200 users, 200 computers. Okay. And this we have configured DHCP server, and this DHCP server, all these 200 IP address releasing from this DHCP server. Okay.
Okay.
And
Sir.
I have another network too, 150 users and 150 computers. Does this network also get the IP address from that same DHCP server? If yes, how?
I believe no.
No.
Mhm.
Okay.
Probably
What
network
else?
when network one was configured on the different subnet, right?
This is doesn't matter if it's a different subnet or same subnet. The question is,
Mm-hmm.
does the network 2 users can get IP address on the DHCP1?
Probably the DHCP server on network one have listed out every IP that it has.
How it works actually? For example, here created a scope. Say for example, the scope name is network 1.
In
Okay.
DHCP, can we have multiple scopes?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So network 1, the start IP address is, now say for example, network 1 IP address range is 10.0.1.0/24, and network 2 IP address is 192.168.10.0/24. Okay. Now, please understand here, this is most important to actual in a production and interview point of view. You are going to creating a scope in a DHCP server, network 1, the name of the scope you provide network 1, and start IP address we are providing 10.0.1.10, and end IP address is what is that? 10.0.1.20. Okay. Now the DHCP server is part of the same network 10.0.1.1. The IP address, DHCP server IP address is 10.0.1.1. Okay. Since the DHCP server in same network and all the computers are same network and created a scope in the same IP address range, you done it, and all the users and computers you got the same range of IP address, correct? Yes or no? Now management says that why can't the same DHCP server can provide the IP address to the other network? So yes, it's possible, but ultimately this network and this network has to be connected.
Yes.
So to connect between these two network, what we need to do?
Router.
So that part has to be taken care, right? The routing part, and must be connected both the network, correct? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
With the help of DHCP relay agent can be manage single DHCP server, provide IP address to different network. In this case, we need to create another scope. Once it is done, create another scope, the scope name called network 2, and what would be the IP address? Start IP address is 192.168.10.10, and end IP address would be 192.168.10.20. So once that is in routing and relay agent configuration has to be done, then this network is going to be with the help of this routing and subnetting part. Even this network computers discovering and connected to other network found the DHCP server, and this DHCP server route the IP address with the respective network IP address, and these machines, whatever machines are getting what kind of IP address, all the client machines should get 192.168.10.192 IP address like this. and we'll do the practically how the single DHCP server can manage multiple network. So what is the disadvantage of this scenario? If I have another network 3, and that IP address range around we have 200 users again, and that IP address is for 20.0.1.0/24. Does this my single DHCP server can manage another network?
Yes.
Possible?
Yes.
Right.
We create the
So
scope, third scope, right?
what would, yeah, obviously again that is network part has to be done and create the scope and you can do it. And what would be the disadvantages having this kind of environment?
If one network goes down, whole network will be.
Not one network. One DHCP server is down, then
Yeah.
entire network, entire DHCP is gone. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If one DHCP server is down, it's gone. This network is gone, and second network is also down. Entire this down. Now, what would be the solution? So we should have that. What would be the solution?
Another copy of this DHCP server.
We should have the failover DHCP. What will happen if the one DHCP server is down? So we have to have a secondary DHCP server. And whatever scope you created in a DHCP1 server, and it should have the secondary, which is DHCP2, should have all the scope. If the one DHCP server down, no problem. The DHCP2 server will manage the entire scope. And we will be going to do the practical how failover DHCP can work.
So is there any replication will also done between these
No
two
need to
DHCP?
do anything. No replications. During the failover, it will ask you to the who is your secondary or who is your partner
Okay.
of the DHCP server. Then it will work it. We will also talk about the DHCP practical and we'll talk about the relay agent, how the relay agent works. Okay. And then this is another important.
Yes, sir.
And once it is done, we will prove that the same network, how that is in fellow DHCP can configure.
Okay, sir.
Good to go?
Yeah.
This is all two topic need to, this cannot be done for this topic and this lab cannot be done in a Google Cloud. I will make the lab, personal lab for you, and then we'll show you that is in how the actual machine is going to be deployed in VMware workstation. Tomorrow I'll get ready with this. Okay, and also someone please get ready with your lab, Google Cloud. We'll talk about the DNS, primary DNS server and secondary DNS server, and we'll talk about one more zone in the record when you're going to creating, right? We have also called as another zone called a stub zone, right? What is stub zone? We'll talk about, and we will see this how it actually works on stub zone. What is the difference between of a primary server, primary DNS server, secondary DNS server, and what you mean by stub zone as well. So these are all important for understanding the DNS concept and DHCP concept.
Forward and reverse zone, what is the difference between all this?
The DNS server you created, that is first primary DNS server, right? Primary DNS server, what is that here? It has
So that's why when we assign an IP to the server, so it asks always that preferred DNS server and alternate DNS server.
Correct. That is a second DNS server.
Okay.
That is a DNS server you need to provide as alternate DNS server, where you see this every network, right?
Yes.
And you have the environment secondary DNS server, you have to provide this in an alternate DNS server. This one. Where you can see here, preferred DNS server and alternate DNS server. The alternate DNS server always for secondary DNS server. Once
I know.
primary DNS server is down, your secondary DNS server will help you.
What is a reverse lookup zone
Ah.
and public?
See, now once it's primary DNS server, na, what is the forward lookup zone? This is going to resolving name to IP address.
yes.
Resolving name to IP. It's resolving not name to IP to name. Okay.
Forward lookup.
IP to name. This is reverse lookup zone. This is reverse lookup zone for name to IP.
Okay.
Okay, vice versa. So both the side we would need when we test, right? When you type the name, computer name, and it should give that IP address. When you type the IP address, it should give the computer name. And again, when you accessing your web application over the IP address, your web page should get access it. At the same time, when you accessing over the name, your web page should get able to access it. Correct? So we'll prove tomorrow when you get the ready lab. I'll show you that how actually this is practically we can do this. Okay, with creating a host record of the DNS host of your web server name. Then we'll see that early before how we're accessing for IP address and how we're accessing for the computer name. Then we'll talk about the DHCP.
Okay, sir.
Okay, one more important. What will happen? This DHCP server is also failed, which is failure also is a failed. Unfortunately, both the servers are down. What will happen? What would be the solution? So we must need to have backup of the DHCP server. Correct?
Replicated of the server, DHCP server.
Not
Okay.
what is replicated here. There's no replication of the DHCP server. Basically, DHCP failover, whatever the scope you created in a DHCP1, it would get updated automatically once you configure the failover. All the scope will get updated to the secondary DHCP server by default. Once it is, but obviously we should have the backup plan also. Unfortunately, or due to the some other environmental effect, some other unfortunate, both the servers are failed. We should have ready with the all the DHCP scope, get ready with that, and immediately you need to restore that services DHCP server. So we'll talk about how to take the backup of the DHCP server and how to restore that is in scope of the in the DHCP server.
Okay, sir.
Good to go. And
Yeah.
these two topics are most important and the practical oriented, plus interview and productions. You need to, concentrate on this and do the lab from your end.
Okay, sir.
Okay, we'll talk about after this tomorrow, backup and restore. We'll talk about server backup and restore. We'll also talk about Active Directory maintenance. Okay, and which is recycle binary, lingering object, and also we'll talk about Active Directory backup and restore, which is Active Directory database. We'll talk about.
incremental backup, side to side backup, right?
What is side to side backup?
No, I think I can't remember that right now.
Don't worry, I'll explain. Don't worry. Don't confuse with any other mixed up. Imran, you are
Okay.
multiple time mixing many things. Go with the proper flow, I would suggest. Okay, so I feel from the day one we are going to talk about. I think you got everyone. At least you are a part of the server administrator. Now you can start updating a profile. All are completely that is job oriented and a real scenario oriented. Explain it. Right? Even though we are taking more time, we're supposed to end up this course last month itself, but we are going very slow, and we are covering up that is in all topic in detail. Right? It was 8 we started. Right? Today is 11th. Almost it is 2 months is completed, isn't it?
Yes.
So I would suggest whatever the topic we covered as a complete system administrator, but whoever going to complete the system administrator, I would suggest you to everyone, do not stop with this and please learn, continue with this upskilling Azure, Microsoft Cloud plus PowerShell for the automation. And 2 people already completed from this batch. I think Shivam, he's already attended the PowerShell batch, he completed. And Shrikant, I think you completed, right? Not sure. But you have to plan it. You wanted to have a complete package, you need to plan for those 2 courses as well. Then only it will have the more confident on your profile.
Sir,
then yeah,
Azure 104, right?
Yeah, Azure 104.
Okay.
Azure 104 plus PowerShell.
Okay.
These 2 when you completed, so automatically you can have a lot of confidence, and people asking for the multiple skill. And by the January month, right, the market will be going to start, people looking for the more requirement, and just plan accordingly, update your profile accordingly. And